Salutations, everyone. This is Hale, live from the usual cabin in the Thundra that I will not tell you where it is because it'll dox me. There I am. So, today we're going to play a game that is very near and dear to my heart. And honestly, I've played which is the Ace Attorney Investigations series. It is a series that meant a lot to me during in general, it was very formative. I can divide my life into two parts. One which was before Ace Attorney Investigations, and the other which was afterwards. So, honestly, currently I'm waiting for the game to boot up because I just opened Steam. And I want to see what's up. 1 second. So yeah, I'm just gonna begin streaming the game whenever it decides to actually respond. Right now it's being a bit of an asshole. Never mind, language is set to English. I'm going to, let's see, I think that's the one. There we go. So, we're just gonna start playing the game, and whoever is joining us is joining us. And this, in true Ace Attorney Investigations fashion, well, I'm gonna do all the voices live. Health warning. This game and collection minimal changes. Okay. Autosave. Loading. I like all the funny new icons. It looks great. Language. English. Sure. Searching for DLC. I'm just gonna vibe a second to the song in the menu. This is 6. DLC is illegal, reported. Hello, Explode Things. Welcome to the Ace Attorney Investigation stream. Right now we haven't really began the game. I'm just vibing to the beats because... One sec. Yeah. So this is just, even seeing the music in the menu is insane to me. Honestly, this is such a bop because... Okay, I'm gonna have to continue onwards. Because this game specifically, I remember, you know what's insane? Streaming crimes. Shh. Okay, first of all, I want to go to the options because we're gonna... I want to go because there are two art styles to this game. One of them is the HD style and the other one is the pixel art, and we're gonna be streaming this game in pixel art because I played this game back in the first game at least, and also the second game in its DS port. And yeah. And so I'm very much accustomed and loving of that one. Choose the art style that makes it look like Unga Bunga. Sure, whatever. Yeah, we're doing it. We're gonna do it like this. Anyways, everything else is a-okay. My question is, why is it not in full screen? For you guys it looks fine, but for me it looks kind of weird. Oh shit. Spoilers. So there's like a bunch of really good music, which is dope as fuck. Because I'm personally very used to just opening the game and there's just... I have a big screen. It's just in windowed mode. I wanted it... If I put it in borderless... There we go. Keep the current settings? Yes. Now the question I have is why... There we go. Now it's in high definition and I see everything correctly. It's just so insane to like get into this game and actually have music for the menu. I am not used to this at all. I'm just used to like having the quiet music and then you click, and we're just gonna go and start with the first game. Man, this is... I I just have a really hard time consecrating because the music is just banger. This is just really banger men music. Sun Dancing Kitty, hello, welcome. We are currently beginning, we're just about to begin Ace Attorney Investigations. The HD collection, which is absolutely insane. I have not played this game in quite a long time, and one of the things I'm hoping to check with this game is how much does it hold up? Hopefully, it's still good. Hopefully, it's still very good. I don't know if it's the best game in there, but I don't know if it's the best game, but it's hopefully good. I mean, the best game, in my opinion, like the best games in the game, in the series, are Trials and Tribulations and the what's its face? The Ryunosuke no Naruto trilogy, which was just peak. But I remember really liking Investigations and having a lot of fun with it. Welcome more viewers. You guys haven't missed much. Just the diggings of Explode Things. So, now it's enough time of me just rambling. Let's just go in and begin from the episode. Turnabout Visitor. And we're just gonna see it. Episode 1, Turnabout Visitor. So weird to see this big on my screen. March 14th, 11:16 a.m. Question mark, question mark. To make sure the defendant is found guilty, what other choice do I have? That's the job of a prosecutor, after all. That may be true, but why? Why go this far? Sorry, maybe I wasn't clear enough, but a guilty verdict is all that matters to me. No matter what the cost. The job of the prosecutor is to eat ass. Well, in Edgeworth's case, it's very much true. I'm a prodigy among prosecutors. Always have been, always will be. Gasp! Yeah, absolutely. By the way, so this entire game is right now we're gonna playing it in pixel art. Again, I'm more nostalgic towards the pixel art. If you're such a prodigy, why use gun? So, I already know this game, like a lot of the big twists, because I played it in the past. Oh, Bo, time to see how Edgy Boy keeps getting involved in murder. Hello, all deps. Welcome to the stream. We are going to continue on. We're going to be continuing this. So, I'm not going to, so we're just going to play the game, and I'm going to keep quiet about the spoilers, and just experience it live. I do know the game. I have in fact played it dozens of times when like a few decades ago. So a lot of the broad strokes I do know, but I'll pretend to be as blind as I possibly can be. Let's continue. There he is. By the way, we're playing this game in pixel mode because I'm more nostalgic towards the pixel art style. And now we're going to go into the voice acting. It's hard to believe that I've been away from my office for a whole month. I hope Detective Gumshoe has been keeping an eye on my office and keeping it clean. The door is unlocked. Just close your eyes. Detective Gumshoe? What's this smell? It's very familiar. Blood? Man, this is so nostalgic. What the? What's wrong, Edgy Boy? Did the gumbo not tell you? God damn it. Did gumbo not tell you is one of the best lines that came from the fandom. Hold on, I'm gonna make my PNG tuber a bit smaller so you guys will be able to see the text. There we go. Salary cutting sounds. I'll be showing you this video once we continue onwards. For now, we're gonna be playing the game. What's the meaning of this? Freeze. And the CGs in this game look so good. No, he's Seungri. Identify yourself. Identify yourself. Shut up. You've got some nerve committing murder in a prosecutor's office. Is that a threat? Let me make one thing very clear. What? No one gets away with committing murder in my office. No one. And then he steps the fuck away. Humph. Humph, humph. My name is Miles Edgeworth. Oh, also, another fun fact about me. Ace Attorney Investigations, let me be very clear. Oh, permanent noises! Wow, this is gonna be a very chaotic stream. This was my first Ace Attorney game ever. I did not know about the Phoenix Wright trilogy. I had a mutual who brought the investigations to a sleepover, and I just completely fell in love with it. But it's definitely not where you should be getting into the series. My name is Miles Edgeworth, and I work as a prosecutor in my local district. Little did I know that upon my return home after a month abroad... If you go to sleep, I will call a good first 2BH. Yeah, I'll continue. We'll talk about why it's a good gateway. I would be thrusted into a multitude of cases and be very frantic. I'm gonna begin. Little did I know that upon my return home after a month abroad, I would be thrusted into a multitude of cases in some very frantic and busy days. There we go. I won't be going to bed. Then there is all the advance, and let's go. Humph. I finished photographing the victim's body, sir. Very well. Please continue investigation. Yes, sir! And now he's dusting for prints. Ah! Mr. Edgeworth, sir! Are you okay, sir? Keep it down, detective. This is a crime scene. When I heard that the murder has taken place in your office, I ran up here straight away. It's good. It's Gumfuck! Yeah, boy, it is Gumfuck. Let's go! This is Dick Gumshoe. He's a detective with the local precinct. And here is the organizer, how it looks in this version. It looks so cute. I really like what I'm seeing here. And the one they assigned to handle this murders case for the time being. You're looking a little pale, sir! Are you hurt? No, I'm perfectly fine. However... Look what they did to your office! It's totally trashed! I'll say, the culprit studied my floor with dirt rather well. No one gets away with tracking mud into my office. Whoa, sounds like you're getting really burned out over all this thing. This crime was committed in my office, so it is my responsibility to solve it. Oh ho, that's just like you, Mr. Edgeworth. By the way, another thing. If anything funny happens during the stream, don't forget to clip it. I upload some of the highlights to my YouTube channel and other socials. That's just like you, Mr. Edgeworth. Okay, time to do some investigating. Agreed. Our first course of action is to gather relevant facts and leads. We must not overlook anything, no matter how small, if we are to find the truth. So I'll keep any leads and information we find etched in the forefront of my mind. Speaking of things that piqued my curiosity, why of all places did the murder occur in my office? Whee! Why does he slap Edgeworth every time he says something? He's clapping, yes. Does Edgeworth mind being slapped this much? If he's into it, we're not gonna judge, guys. Yeah, I was wondering that myself, sir. I mean, you can't really say it's just a coincidence, can you? No, not really. Especially because of this... The key to your office. What do you mean, sir? If you think about it carefully and use logic, it should become clear to you. Logic? By finding the connection between two pieces of information and connecting them, new information is born. That is the end result of using logic. Gumfuck destroyed with facts and logic. Absolutely. So how do you use it? First, I recall information we've gathered with Q, and then I connect them together with T. Now, to use Q and recall the facts. It's so weird seeing this UI, because I'm just used to, like, the DS UI. But at least they kept the music the same. I saw New Friend Plus just uploaded a video. Cutie. Aw, yeah, absolutely. Edgeworth is a cutie. Phoenix Wright will agree. And we connect. And this is the most intense jigsaw puzzle session I've ever seen in my life. Which means it would have been hard for the murdered victim to go in here. Did I skip a line? For security reasons, all prosecutors' doors are outfitted with locks. There we go. It's impossible to dismiss the location of this crime as a mere coincidence. Yes, that's exactly what I was thinking, sir. What I was thinking. There must be a reason why someone infiltrated my room. What was the killer after? You're really on the ball today, Mr. Edgeworth. That's some beautiful logic, sir. Yes, well, when you follow the leads to their conclusion, only the truth remains. However, if the information doesn't line up properly, I may stray far from the truth as well. But if I think carefully before piecing leads together, the logic should flow. Well, let's get started with our investigation, shall we? Yes, sir! Let's go! The basics of any good investigation is to examine everything, sir. I know that, and when I want you to examine something, I simply use space when I'm next to it. Space, that's a Portal reference right there. Space, when I go to space. Space! Examine gumshoe. Yeah, I'm gonna do that soon. Oh, if you ever feel lost and want to talk, just use T, okay? I'll give you great and precise advice as an ace investigator, sir. Oh, something to try later if I have free time, I suppose. So, chat, what do we want to do first? One of the things I actually liked about the DS is that, like, you had the tiny portrait of your assistant in the corner. It's really cute. Anyways, we're gonna examine Gumshoe and see what he has to say. You called, sir? Is there anything you noticed that you'd like to share, Detective Gumshoe? Just that I rushed over here as soon as I heard there was a murder in your office, sir. The investigation's just gotten started, so I guess there's not much else to say. So, were you the one who found the body, Mr. Edgeworth? Unfortunately, upon my return, I found my office doors to be unlocked. And what awaited me was this whole messy affair. Ouch, that's rough. Even though I left the security of this room to a certain detective... Sorry, sir! Nah. You can't get angry at those puppy dog eyes. You really can't. About investigating. I assume you understand how to conduct investigations, Detective Gumshoe? Of course, sir! Examine anything and everything with space! By checking various things out, we can gather all sorts of evidence and information. You can see the evidence we collected with E. For information it leads, it's Q. That's it! Great job, sir! Detective Reasonable is the way to go! Deductive Reasonable. It's called Deductive Reasoning, Detective. Clearly something you lack. Unfortunately. Anyways, let's begin with examining the body. Wait, no, let's begin with examining... Oh shit, I accidentally clicked on logic. Never mind. Ouch, they even knocked off your chest set! I had it all set up ready for when you got back. Oh, that was Edgeworth. I had it all set up ready for when you got back. I figured we could play a few games. I had no idea you were interested in chess. I'm actually pretty good at checkers, so I thought I'd give chess a try. In that case, I suppose I could set some time aside after we solve this case. No, I don't expect the games to tax my mental acuity much. Okay, now we'll examine the gun. What have we here? Could this perhaps be the murder weapon? If so, it would mean that the killer made their escape after disposing of their gun here. I think I've seen one of those before. Care to enlighten me as to where? Oh wait, that was Gumshoe. Oh, I know. I was issued the exact same model. I think... detective. I don't really like guns all that much. I mean, they're really dangerous. But now that I think about it, you do see this model around the precinct a lot, sir. I don't use mine much except in emergencies, so that's why I didn't recognize it. So Gumshoe doesn't recognize the gun he tends to carry around, huh? So it's the same type of revolver as the ones used by the precinct's detectives. Chat, on a scale of 1 to 5, how good is my British accent? Probably not. I'm really trying. I want to examine these. Is this yet another batch of fresh flowers? 11. That's very nice to hear, thank you. The ones that come with a card attached every month, they clockwork for you. Yup. Speaking of that, let's see what's on the card this month, sir. All will be resolved. Wendy. Oh, Miss Irony, how painful art thy thorns. Wendy, isn't that the name of that old lady with the whiny voice that stalk? That's enough, detective. You need not remind me further. So this is a Wendy. Yeah. Definitely a character in the Ace Attorney canon. They just keep bringing back. Whether we like it or not. Really, it's a good thing my steel samurai doll was spared from any harm. Speaking of which, I still haven't sat down and watched any of that show. Speaking of which, I still haven't actually sat down and watched any of that show. What is it about again? Well, I don't know much about it myself, but... Careful, guys. Where is Maya? Maya is not in this game. Maya only appears in the trilogy, in Spirit of Justice, and the Layton crossover. And yeah. The hero of the Steel Samurai, warrior of near Old Tokyo, is the Steel Samurai. And his goal is to defeat the evil magistrate. It's a show geared towards kids. However, its high production values and riveting plot draws in a number of adults as well. He's schizophrenic. Maybe. You shouldn't say that, explode things. That's very rude. You shouldn't. How did you know that? It's a secret. Spin-offs like Praying Princess, Warrior of Little Old Tokyo, and Nickel Samurai. Both of them appeared in previous Ace Attorney canon, along with the Deluge of merchandise and even Next Stage show, which gives it presence. You sure know a lot. Are you sure you're not some sort of rabbit fanboy? Huh, of course not. Anyone that keeps up with society knows at least that much. And that conversation lasted longer than expected. Let us return to the investigation. I like how there's all these funny little Easter eggs in Edgeworth's office. You have the Wendy, you have the Steel Samurai. You also have the King of Prosecutors, which was actually Rabbit Fanboy. He's a furry, get him? Maya also killed Turkey. Yeah, that's a reference to a really funny Ace Attorney parody. You'll find it if you'll search for it. I don't remember it right now. Oh, it's your trophy, the Knight of Prosecutors, right? Oh my god. It's a King of Prosecutors. And it's not a trophy, it's a shield. They only send these to the winning prosecutors, right? Yes, but I have no real interest in the perceived worth of other people. It's not a parody if you look in the matter, he isn't there. We don't know that. As for my own worth, that is something only I can determine for myself. That's so slick, sir. I'm gonna have to try saying that sometime. Unfortunately for him, his monetary worth is tied directly to his worth to me. Anyways, let's examine the tea set. Watch out for the teacup fragments there, sir. Ugh, that killer is going to pay. This tea set. Yikes, you're really mad over this. The tea set is very dear to my heart. It can only be bought in England. It costs me more than your whole month's paycheck. What? Now I feel like the killer's wasted one of my monthly paychecks. Okay, let's examine the body. Heyo. We finished photographing the body, so it should be... Damn it, I have hiccups. One sec. Here we go. Dead air. Okay. I won't rest until I've inspected every suspicious looking nook and cranny. Okay, so let's begin with the wallet. What do we have here? Hey, I think I've seen one of those before. It's a police badge, detective. Oh, hey, I have the exact same thing, actually. What a quinkydink. Let's just take a look inside. Mr. Body Faith. It would appear that a victim here was a detective just like you. I seem to have gathered a few pieces of information. Pertinent information. Now to calmly use some logic and figure out if any of them are connected to each other. Let's see here. There's some blood all over his lower abdominal area. It looks like the bullet passed clean through his stomach area, sir. In other words, he was shot. Yep, and until the autopsy report's done, I don't think we'll know much more than that. Please have the body sent to the morgue once they're done processing the crime scene. And we have crime scene notes. Connect 1, the one game. Yes, pass through the hole. Are you going to be okay with keeping track of the evidence we find, sir? Of course. This is the safest way I know to keep track of it all. Alright, if you say so. And I'll keep all the evidence I find either in or with my organizer. When I want to re-examine a piece, I have but press E to open my organizer. But the organizer isn't only for evidence, I keep people's profiles on hand in it too. It's probably a good idea to make a habit of checking these facts often. He's not dead, just taking a nap. And how do you explain the blood? Prosecutors sleep over. But he's a detective. Are detectives also invited to the prosecutor's sleepover? Let's see. Okay, dirty hand. We can also examine this. I don't believe it. I packed those files with this shelf so tight. And not even an earthquake can make them fall off. But just look at them. At this rate, the rest of the time of the files won't be able to withstand an earthquake at all. A problem to be sure. Well, once investigation is over, we'll put them back on the shelf. Bad PMS? Maybe. Maybe it does look like bad PMS. Yes, they're the strippers. The prosecutors are the strippers. Crazy. Okay, let's do some logic. Wait, your files are all over the floor, sir. They probably fall during the struggle between the victim and his killer. Oh, and I tried so hard to keep this place spotless while you were away. I mean, this has just rendered all the time and effort I put into it pointless. I don't recall ever asking you to clean my room. Well, I water the flowers every day just like you requested, sir. I just added cleaning to the list as a weekend special. For about half a day, every Saturday, I'd come in and clean this place until it sparkled. Does he have a life? Every time you use logic, you can actually obligate to say facts. Okay, so it's time to solve the case with facts and logic. Okay. Let's try connecting this. And it worked! Detective plus detective equals detective. The revolver, the standard model used by detectives. Could have belonged to our recently departed... Oh, by the way, welcome to this Twitch stream. We are streaming Ace Attorney Investigations with the POPO gun. Could have belonged to our recently departed. Detective Gumshoe, can you please thoroughly check the victim's body one more time? Yes, sir. On it now, sir. Excuse me, pal. Let's see. What do we got here? Oh, 1 second. Sun Dancing Kitty, thank you so much for the follow. Really appreciated. Mr. Edgeworth, sir, this guy was wearing a gun holster. So it appears that our killer somehow managed to take the victim's gun from him. Let's see what else we can find out about this revolver. As I always say, you gotta look really carefully at each piece of evidence. You can use the arrow buttons to rotate an object. There's no such thing as a bad angle. It's time to get rotated. Use Q&A to zoom in and out and get the nitty gritty. Get rotated, idiots. Brother, it's a gun. Just looking down the barrel, I promise it's fine. Well, we're gonna check it. Looks like only 1 round was fired from this. Wow, so the killer indeed killed the Vic with just 1 shot after wrestling the gun from him? Sounds like the guy knew how to handle a gun, huh, Mr. Edgeworth? We have no proof now, but it is a distinct possibility. Okay. I guess this is about all we're going to find out. We should send the body to the auto... Jim! Oh, why? How could this have happened to a guy like you? Oh, you're right. Me... Don't listen to fake news. Don't touch me! Leave me alone! Just let me be! Sorry, but I can't do that. This investigation is still ongoing, so please refrain from touching the body. The body? The body? Don't talk about him like he's just some lump of flesh! Look at him. Jim looks just like he's been turned in for the night. Sure, just in blood-stained suit, pal. And he doesn't look really upset about this, does he? Where are my manners? Aren't you that prosecutor? Why, yes I am. I'm Jacques Portsman, prosecutor. Jim here was my partner in crime busting. I'm Miles Edgeworth, and like you, I'm also a prosecutor. Detective Dick Gumshoe, sir. So you're Miles Edgeworth. I guess this is your office? Yes, that is correct. Then it was you! You're the one who killed Jim! Hey, don't go jumping around to conclusions, pal. Just calm down, okay? I will not! I know how things work around here. High prosecutor's office doors all have locks built into them. And only the owner of the office has the key to his or her own office door. There's also kilometers Smoothworth. That's the killer. I mean, according to the cutscene, it's not really spoilers. They do this thing that Ace Attorney cases like doing where they show the criminal in case 1. And case 2 of... Oh, and also in case 2 of the first game where they show the victim, the culprit twice. That is correct. However, I was not the one who killed your partner. Yeah, Mr. Edgeworth has been overseas on a business trip for this whole time, pal. And the key to the door was with me this entire time, okay? So the only one who could get in here was me. Ho ho ho. Wait, that means... I'm not sure what that means. So it was you then! You're Jim's killer! No way, pal, you've got it all wrong! Everyone calm down. Mr. Portsman, correct? If you're a real prosecutor, you should know to stay collected. The investigation has only just begun. Isn't it too early to be drawing conclusions? Alright, I get the point. You're right, my mistake. I tend to get a little too hot-headed sometimes. You sure are one cool customer there, Edgeworth. Cool customer. Where do cool customers go shopping? Probably at Dairy Queen's. I've heard all about the rumors about you. You're the great genius prosecutor. You're something of a legend, you know. Anyway, let's call a truce and work together, okay? Now how about a handshake to seal the deal? A pleasure to work with you. You guys were conducting an investigation, right? Sorry for barging in like that. Carry on then. It's your room after all. Thank you. I intend to. I just want a little more time to say goodbye to Jim. You there. Sir. They shook hands together. I want you to capture this scene on film for me. Stop inventing places in America. Dairy Queen is not a... Dairy Queen's is a chain restaurant in America. I'm not inventing anything. My final farewell to my partner, Jim. Wow, that is some true art school behavior right there. Documenting the most tragic moments of your life. Also film school. Inventor of lies! Dude, I can prove to you Dairy Queen exists. I mean, I won't, but just look it up. Dairy Queen does exist. I should probably give them some space. Look at this ornate... Look at Edgeworth's tea collection. Like, there's so many teas around. Sofa's really nice, too. Milk Princess. I hope we can solve this case quickly. I'd like to return to relaxing on this sofa. That thing looks a billion times softer than my mattress at home. Can I sit on it too? Just for a little while, sir? Detective Gumshoe, you know I can't allow that. Until this case is solved, neither of us has time to spare, let alone rest. You're right, sir. I'm gonna work hard and be a real trooper to the end. Even once this case is over, I don't think you can afford to take any time off. Edgeworth, maybe you can just give him a raise? That sounds like a better solution. Okay. Your jacket, sir! What's it doing on the floor? It must have fallen off the wall then when the killer tried to threaten me by firing the round. So the killer has not only shot the victim, but they also shot your jacket as well? They dared shoot the ultra special jacket that you made for your prosecutor... that you made your prosecutorial debut in? Question, can you pet the kitty in this game? I don't know. I don't think there's any kitties to pet in this game, unfortunately. There's no... Sorry. Give him an office pizza party. Yeah, they should. What if they had shot through it? It would have been a disaster. It's not worth getting walked up over, detective. Not when there's something more there. Huh? Like what? I take it you haven't noticed it yet, detective. There is a giant contradiction right there in front of us. Hold on, this is my jam. Okay, 0 out of 10 game. True. Really? Did I say contradiction? He must be rubbing off on me. I'm starting to sound like him. Phoenix is definitely rubbing off on you in more than one way, Edgeworth. We're just gonna say that right there. But I have my own methods and I will conduct this investigation my way. When the scene before me contradicts a piece of evidence or seems off, that's when I use my deductive skill. That's when my deductive skill is come into play. first I have to find the spot that holds the contradiction. Which is this. This is it. The bullet holds where the contradiction lies. When I spot something that's off, I should point out the cursor and press T with conviction. We're gonna press T with conviction. Stop rubbing them together, they're not wooden planks. But they're definitely, one of them is definitely wooden while they're being rubbed. I had to say that. This is how I do things. Okay. And our flaw is the fact that there was only one shot fired. I hate you. Do you hate gay people? Is that it? Is this... I thought it was PG-13, lol. Yeah, game is PG-13, but I sometimes make jokes. Only when you are involved. Anyways, we're gonna present this. Eureka! This bullet hole is the contradiction. What do you mean, sir? It's elementary. 2 shots were fired in this room. The first fell the victim, and the second fell this frame. Hey, that's right! However, this gun was only fired once. Hey, that's true too. Which means that the one of these 2 bullets was fired from a different gun. The first fell the victim, the second one is his balls. Of course. There's another handgun. By the way, I noticed something, sir. Sir, yes? What's that thing sticking out from behind the frame? Oh, that is a secret safe. A secret safe? Oh, I smell money! I'll spare us the trouble and just say it. Nothing like that. Nothing like what you're imagining is inside. Now, if you could kind-heartedly move this frame out of the way. Guys, they have bad PMS. He doesn't have balls. It's true. Buddy Faith said trans rights. Roger that. Achoo! Talk about dusty. I suppose that's what happens when I'm not here to dust it once in a while. I had no idea there was a safe here, or I'd have kept it clean for you, sir. So when did you put this thing in? It wasn't something I had installed personally. Every prosecutor's office has one. Really? I had no idea! Well, only prosecutors are supposed to have knowledge of their existence. So what's inside, Mr. Edgeworth? Stop sniffing the metal, gumfuck. Gumfuck can do whatever he wants. Right now, nothing. We only use them to store specially important evidence when a trial is in session. And that's it? Talk about squashing my hopes and dreams. Gumshoe, were you planning to rob Edgeworth out of his money? I mean, considering how low your salary is, I don't blame you. I barely know the knowledge of my existence. How do prosecutors learn to do it? It's for the K4 collection. Yeah. Honestly, true. That's the collection. I won't rest until I expected any suspicious looking nook and cranny. Well, just the fingerprints. Now this is odd. Have you found something, sir? This keypad, don't you find it a bit too clean? Yeah, there's a thick layer of dust all around it, but not in the keypad itself. You there, the forensic scientist? Yes, sir. Could you please dust this area for fingerprints? You got this, sir. I couldn't find let alone a single print. It looks like it's been wiped down well. Whenever I play this game, I feel like I just default to doing the Edgeworth voice. Because all the characters here are male, and sometimes it's hard to, like, notice. As I thought. It appears that the logic is the only way around this setback. Time to rationally and calmly connect the dots with the information we have. It's true. It's time to use facts and logic. Okay. Why did this happen in my office? What was the killer after? I'd say they probably wanted to rob the safe. Easy! Yep, it is the safe. I believe I figured out what the murderer was after. Well, what is it, sir? The fact that the safe was wiped clean of fingerprints suggests that the criminal had at least attempted to open my safe, making the culprit's motive for breaking and entering theft, I assume. I wonder if knowing the motive behind this break-in was theft changes what the other pieces of information can tell me about this crime. Motive is theft, which explains why there were signs of struggle. Honestly, I don't know. I want to examine things a little more beforehand. I've already finished examining. I feel like there is maybe... no, I didn't mean to click. It's time to steal. The thief character in this game hasn't arrived yet, so no, it's not time to steal just yet. Okay. I think that's... okay. I just wanted to check if there's anything I missed. The answer is I didn't. Motive is theft. Well, we don't know if it's theft. Other than victim's gun... maybe it's this? The answer it is correct. Connect fail. Yeah. There is a possibility that when the files displayed on the floor are not the result of struggle between the victim and his killer. Oh, you mean it'd be like from the killer tried... oh, you mean like it could be from when the killer tried to find something, sir? Precisely. We need to figure out if any of the files have been stolen. Yes, sir. I'm gonna shelve files like you've never seen before, even at a library. I wonder if Gumshoe ever worked part-time in the library. Sure, let's give that a try. Why do all the good ones always die young? Surely you must ponder that every once in a while, Mr. Edgeworth. I do. My dad died young. Oh, is that so? No matter how much we lament, the dead will not come back to life. All we can do is search for the truth. And? So, what are we supposed to do? How do we go on about finding the truth? First, we calmly restore the files to the rightful place. You got it. Here, let me help. So this file goes here, and that book goes there. You know, you sure know a lot about where things go, despite being Mr. Edgeworth's office. Because I'm the one who keeps it tidy, pal. Okay, done. It would appear that the murder was definitely committed here. Wow, that is some really bad PMS, you guys. Ugh, the bloodstains on the bookshelf still are fresh. I suspected the victim was killed in a standing position on the shelf. And when the guy fell onto the floor, the blood on the floor is kind of grossing me out. Detective, I don't have the time to deal with your weak stomach right now. But you know I'm no good with blood, sir. Chef. How is it legal for a prosecutor to tamper with an active crime scene? It isn't, but I don't know. This is for the sake of logic. I'm certain there's something wrong with this picture. I think this contradicts the autopsy report. So this is where the bullet lodged itself after we went through the victim, huh? Where the bullet to be lodged squarely in the file's spine indicates that the files were ransacked after the shooting had occurred. I guess the victim was moved because he was in the killer's way. I think this is it. Does this spot someone collected to any of the evidence I hold? Well, it connects to the autopsy reports. It went clean through the abdomen, and honestly, this looks like it's going through his ass. Updated autopsy report. Yes, there's clearly a contradiction here with this bullet hole. What do you mean, sir? You don't see? Quite simply, the bullet hole itself is too low. If the victim was shot in the stomach, the hole should have been much higher up. What if the guy was shot while he was sitting or lying down, sir? That would be logical. The victim leaned against this shelf here after being shot, which suggests that he was standing when he was shot. That means... Wait, what does that mean, sir? It means you need to use your brain every once in a while instead of mine, detective. They're sharing one brain cell, you guys. It's canon. Surprise butt sex. The amount of gay jokes we're making in this one. Really a lot. In any case, it means someone made a faulty assumption. And from this mistake that our current contradiction was born. Who is the faulty assumption that caused the bullet hole? What is the faulty assumption that caused this problem with the bullet hole's position? The position of the body. I'd say the order of the files makes much more sense. I believe the order of the files is a bit off. You mean I put them back in the wrong order just now? Hey, actually, I think the labels on the files are wrong, sir. Oh? Yeah, you see here how the files that were shot begin with the number 0? What are those doing all the way down here after 1, 2, and 3? That's really weird. Actually, the way they're organized now is the correct order. They are exactly as I see them in my mind's eye. But the numbers are all out of order. There's white binders are special, so they are arranged a bit differently. But from this we know the files were not in this order when the crime occurred. Aha, so that's it. I believe the killer made the same incorrect assumption as you just did, detective. Let's rearrange the files in a numerical order and see what we find out. Oh, do you think it'd be okay to prop the body back up to see how it was before it was moved? They finished processing the crime scene, so I don't see why it wouldn't be. If you please, Detective Gumshoe. As I suspected, the bullet hole is now where it should logically be. The killer went through the files first before shooting Mr. Faith. And then put the files back in numerical order, I guess. Oh, that was Gumshoe's line. I keep making the same mistake. Exactly. And then proceeded to shoot the victim. But why would someone kill the man and then look through your files one more time? Puzzling indeed. The files were thrown into disarray twice before and once after the crime scene, but why? But why? Now the crime scene is as it was at the time of the murder. Time to give it another look. Well, there's this entire thing right here. This. What is that? Why does it say Gumshoe on there in blood? I'd say it's some incredibly incriminating evidence. Yes, indicative of criminal activity indeed. One sec. No, wait! There's gotta be some mistake! Mr. Edgeworth, sir, help me! Say something, sir! It appears that one of my files was stolen. Is that all, sir? What about me and my situation? For why? Is this what the killer was really after? Looks like Jim was able to leave us in the name of his killer in the end. And the most important message managed to reach out to us. Okay, so I'm gonna be going to the bathroom, and I'll be back in a few. So I'll be right back. are so back. And this most important message managed to reach us. I'm telling you, it wasn't me! You can't be terribly pleased to hear that your beloved partner is the guilty party. If you're going to accuse Detective Gumshoe of being the culprit, I sincerely hope you have some proof to back it up. Jim's words, they're more than enough, wouldn't you say? If that's how you want to play it, then at least allow me to understand your reasoning. You got it! Okay, I don't like this one bit. There's something strange about this man's attitude. And there must be some sort of flaw in his logic that waiting for me to dig out. Mr. Edgeworth, what are you going to do? What I always do in court. I'm going to cross-examine him. Well, usually you're the one doing the direct examination, but sure. One way or another, I'll expose the flaw in his logic with this technique. Ooh, how would you do that? Can you explain it to me, sir? Well, I already know how to play the game, so we're gonna skip the tutorial. Mr. Portsman, if you're ready. Aw, if you don't have time, you could just say so, sir. What I always do, I cut him into cross-sections, declaring my opponent, decimating my... Bro, Gumshoe, you were in the original games. Yeah, here's one of the things that I have a bit of a problem in this game. And it's specifically the fact that Gumshoe feels more dumbed down than he was in the original trilogy. According to my memory, he feels a little too flanderized in this one. He's not that stupid. Detective Gumshoe, you stole Jim's gun from him and shot him dead. Furthermore, you must have defiled to make it look like you had committed theft instead. That's when you moved Jim's body that was sitting in front of the bookshelf. But thanks to that, you didn't notice the bloody letters his body was hiding. And that it will be by his final words that you will be brought to justice. You intend to argue that the victim's dying message points to his killer. I can hear Jim's voice as if he's calling for his killer's arrest. Are you sure you're not mishearing his words, Mr. Portsman? There's no way Detective Gumshoe is the culprit here. I will find a flaw in this man's logic and expose him with with credible evidence. Okay, so let's do it. Q is for press, E is for present. Detective Gumshoe, you stole Mr. Jim's gun and shot him dead. Furthermore, you messed up the files to make it look like you had committed theft instead. That's when you moved Jim's body that was sitting in front of the bookshelf. But thanks to that, you didn't notice the bloody letters his body was hiding. We're just gonna go through the good old strategy of pressing everything until we get the right cue. You know, there's something I've been meaning to ask. What is it? What is it? Wow, I'm really bad at keeping my accents consistent. Jim. There's a lot of We are really leaning into the schizophrenia jokes today, aren't we? Can't really say I'm a fan. Anyways, let's continue. Why do you call the victim Jim? And clearly his name is Buddy Faith. Isn't it obvious? Jim's the perfect name for my companion. Jacques and Jim. Don't those two names go together like peanut butter and jelly? But Jim isn't even close to the guy's real name. Well, Jock and Buddy just sounds off somehow. Besides, he was the third of a bunch of guys I decided to nickname Jim. Humph, he talks about the victim like he was his pet. Further, you messed up the files to make it look like you had committed theft instead. Do you really think it was necessary to dishevel my shells twice to do that? That's true. Okay, then maybe his real intent was theft. Hey, are you accusing me of stealing something from Mr. Edgeworth? It's a possibility. Maybe your salary's been cut so much, your life has been getting a little too rough to handle. I'll have you know that I eat 3 square meals a day, every day, pal. Okay, so all 3 of them happen to be instant noodles, but... Poor thing. What an evil prosecutor were you paired up with, and what a motive, no? He needs to be eaten. He needs to be fed. Okay, that's when he moved Jim's body. And why would Detective Gumshoe do such a thing? Because the body was getting in his way. You had no way to mess up your bookshelves somehow, right? Anyway, thanks to that, you didn't notice the bloody letters his body was hiding. Why do you think the killer didn't notice the bloody letters? The body was covering it quite well, wouldn't you say? That's how he missed it. But judging by what I've been seeing, it doesn't take much for you're a detective to miss something. He's not wrong. What do you think you are? You know nothing about me, pal. There's a lot a person can understand about another from his first impressions alone. Can't say I disagree with him on that point. Why don't you say something, sir? Not you too, Mr. Edgeworth. Despite his lack of attention to detail, I don't believe the detective to be the culprit. Nobody could have looked at the bloody letters, and I can prove it. With evidence. Couldn't ask you for a better setup. For the game-finishing spike. Okay, so this is definitely the contradiction word. Because... probably because of the crime scene notes, I think. I think the stolen file. This is where we're gonna see if I get the right, if I remember how to solve this or not.
Objection!
And I do! For successfully presenting correct evidence during a rebuttal. Nice. Perhaps you're not aware, Mr. Portsman, but there is a serious flaw in your logic. Huh. Bringing a bit of the courtroom to this, I see. No problem. I'm game. I can't help but find it odd. Excuse me? Odd that a fellow prosecutor will be brought down by the power of his own office. What are you talking about? Oh, you're joking, I get it. If you have the time to laugh, then you have the time to take another closer look at this. Do you still not see? Oh my god, this is a remastered version! Wow, this sounds so cool. This sounds awesome. Such a big fan. They added like more trumpets and shit. This is awesome. I'm gonna continue now, but man, I just need to vibe. Do you still not see? If not, may I direct your attention to the missing file? What? That's impossible. What's impossible, Mr. Portsman? Nothing. The files on the shelf are all about a certain case. When the killer went to take file after murdering your partner, I highly doubt they could have missed the bloody letters written on the spines. This is such a nice remaster. Why are the letters upside down is a good question. It's possible that they could have been taken by the file for committing the murder. I think it's pretty obvious the file was stolen after it was written on. The missing letters in the detective's name where the files should be is proof. Yeah, I mean, the S is gone and there's only half an H. If Detective Gumshoe really was the culprit of this case, I highly doubt that even he could overlook his own name written in blood on the files. Especially as a detective who can't stand the sight of blood. Which means, what exactly? What does that make this dying message? It makes it the work of criminal intent and tampering with the crime scene. Why are the letters upside down? Well, I think it's because of tampering. It's like he's trying to do a 11037, but he's failing miserably. Danganronpa fans will appreciate this. That's so low! I can't believe the criminal tried to pin the whole thing on me, sir! I'm gonna get them, sir. You'll see. I'm gonna have them under arrest in no time. Well, Mr. Portsman. Brilliant! Absolutely splendid. Logic deserving of Olympic gold. He won the Facts and Logic Olympics. I appreciate the praise, but it doesn't change the fact your reasoning is flawed. Meh, you wish. You win some, you lose some. That's how life goes. Glad everyone's so cheery, even though I feel more dead than alive. But you know, it really is a shame. I really didn't want to have to bring this up. However... What is it this time? Are you still after me, pal? Humor me for a second. Who has the key to this office? That would be me! But Mr. Edgeworth just proved that I'm innocent, pal. That's absolutely right, and I acknowledge your innocence. And why do I sense that you still have something to say? It's the jacket. Well, I was thinking, did you know that there is one other person with the key to this office? One other person. Ah, hey, you there. Yes, sir. What is it, sir? Would you kindly fetch and escort that lovely young lady here for me? A lady? The girl is a member of this building's security. Think of her as material witness. Security? Do you say security? No, stop it, pal, don't! What's wrong with him all of a sudden? I believe she needs no introduction. I have called upon Miss Maggie Bird, a member of security. Detective Gumshoe, sir. Oh, it's Maggie. The most unfortunate woman in the world. Poor little Maggie. Maggie? Miss Bird is a security guard on watch tonight. I see. And your point is? My point is that she could very well have used it. And by it, I mean the master key, which can open all the office doors in this building. What? If you're not the guilty party, Detective Gumshoe, then the only other person with access to this room is Miss Bird. How dare you! I would never sneak into someone's room! That's right, I refuse to believe Maggie's the culprit, pal. It was me! That's right, I did it! Man, she's so tiny. She's like 23. Can we take this that as a confession, detective? Well, it wasn't really me, but it definitely wasn't Maggie, pal. So yeah, it was me. If it was, you'd have no problems with that, right? Please refrain from flying off the handle, detective. There's no need for such theatrics. Listen to your boss, detective. He understands what I'm saying here. That girl is the only one who could have committed the crime, and for one simple reason. It's pretty obvious that Miss Bird snuck into your room using the master key. I mean, if Detective Gumshoe isn't the one who opened the door, then that leaves only Miss Bird as our prime suspect. On top of which she knows we're a good detective, doesn't she? Making it all more probable that she was the one who faked the dying message. So you're saying that she used the master key? Incredibly incriminating evidence, wouldn't you say? That's what you claimed of the evidence earlier as well. That was then, this is now. The flow of a good match always changes during a rally. I like how his theme is just sports. It's all about the reflexes and your reaction time, especially for an athlete like me. I wonder if there was anyone else other than Miss Bird who could have used the master key. It seems that the only way to get Mr. Portsmouth to give me more details is to press him. Now we need to suppress things. Okay. It's pretty obvious that Miss Bird snuck into your room using the master key.
Hold it!
Are you sure Mr. Bird is the only member of security who could have used the master key? There's only one person on staff in that time of night, and tonight she's it. Only one member at the staff. Highly suspicious. Isn't that right, Miss Bird?
That's, true, but I wasn't able to use the master key at the time of the crime, sir!
Wasn't able to? What's that supposed to mean? Yes, moving on. I'd hate to get sidetracked by something unrelated. What do you mean, unrelated? I want to hear what she has to say, pal. But you can't really trust her not to tell lies. Plus, I hate wasting time. Should I hear Miss Bird out? Not so fast. I too am interested in hearing what Miss Bird has to say. Didn't I say it'd be a waste of time? We don't need to hear her lies. I'll be the judge of that. Miss Bird, if you please.
I discovered that the master key was missing at around 1 a.m., sir.
What do you mean by missing?
As in, it wasn't anywhere in the security booth, sir. The killer must have stolen it.
Mr. Portsman, I believe this is an important piece of testimony, don't you? Oh, I can't believe that someone like you would be taken by such words.
I'm not lying, sir!
Objection!
If that's the case, then I'd like to know. Why do you have the master key now?
I don't quite know. It just reappeared all of a sudden, sir.
Huh, a likely story. And where's your proof that the key was stolen to begin with? I bet you just forgot where you put it and then found it again.
I never lose things. I can practically guarantee that. With me, if something disappears, it's usually because someone stole it.
Yeah, pal. Trust me, you don't want to test just how bad our luck is. Wow, that was so backhanded. Unfortunately, I can't deem this piece of testimony as conclusive. Glad you agree, Mr. Edgeworth. But... You still haven't established Maggie's motive for breaking into Mr. Edgeworth's office. A motive? Didn't we already establish it was theft? I mean, the culprit clearly went through the bookshelves and at least tried the safe. It is as Mr. Portman says, Detective. I can't ignore the fact that all the evidence points towards motive of theft. But I'm done taking the blows. It's time to counterattack with a few facts and logic of my own. Her intent? From the messed up shelves to the wiped down safe, I'd say it's thievery. Well, it would be. But only prosecutors know that there is a safe.
Objection!
Do you wish to continue insisting that Miss Bird was the one set on stealing something? Why not? It's the truth, after all. It was also by your logic that we came to the whole thievery conclusion anyway. That may be, but you must also be aware of the fact that the safe is a secret safe. Let's get the remix again, baby! Oh, it's so good. the existence of which is only privy to prosecutors. Ah! I find it a little hard to believe that this hidden safe was a part of her cunning plan. But she could have found it by accident while she was turning everything upside down. I highly doubt that. I'd say the culprit knew exactly where they were looking for. After all, only the bookshelf and the safe were targeted. Yeah, even I didn't know about that safe, pal. And that means there was no way Maggie could have known about it either. Then, aren't you proposing? The killer is a prosecutor? Interesting conclusion. That's definitely looking more and more probable. What's wrong, prosecutor? Did you have a different suspect in mind now? Curses, why? What made you? What's with the angry praise all of a sudden? It's all my fault. What do you mean? It's Jim. He knew about the existence of the secret safes. What did he just say? We were partners, like inseparable conjoined twins. That's why I told him. I filled him in on the secret safes. And that means... Yeah, I know. I had only told him, too. Obviously, it was wrong of me to tell him. I still can't quite believe it. But the thief who broke into the room was probably Jim. Now he's claiming that the victim was a thief. And you were simply trying to stop him, weren't you? Miss Maggie Bird.
Excuse me?
I mean, you are a security guard, right? That's your job. But killing is going a bit too far, even in your risky profession. What the? You're still accusing Maggie of the murder? Yes and no. I mean, she had stumbled upon Jim, who had already been drawn to scum. I get it. It was self-defense, wasn't it?
No, I couldn't. I could never do something like that. Not even as a security guard, sir.
Plus, even if he was a thief, he wouldn't have let a key to this office. Which is precisely why he had to steal it, wouldn't you say? It was Jim who stole the master key. Pretty impossible for a supposedly stolen key to be brought with us unless we retrieve it from Jim after you killed him. Mr. Portsman, are you honestly accusing your own partner of being a thief? I don't want to admit it, but it's the only way for everything else to make sense. Has he no honor? No, then I think we're done here. The investigation waits for no man. Would you please be so kind to see yourself out? You can't kick us out. This is Mr. Edgeworth's office. But I'm the one who's assigned to this case. You are all suspects to varying degrees, and therefore ineligible to run this show. Listen, pal, how many times do you have to say this? Maggie can't be the culprit! Detective Gumshoe, calm yourself. But sir, we have no choice but to accommodate his request. For now. Aha! Thank you, Mr. Edgeworth. At least one of you understands. Now then, if you could please remove yourselves from my crime scene, I'd be the most grateful. Mark my words, Mr. Portsman. We will meet again. If that's a formal request from the legendary prosecutor himself, then I suppose so. Now don't disappoint me, you hear? To be continued. We still have a lot of time to continue the stream, so we're gonna do that. March 14th, 4:18 a.m. Prosecutor's Building, 12th floor hallway. What is that with that prosecutor? I can't believe how rude he was. Unbelievable. Please maintain your professionalism, detective. I'm gonna find some real solid evidence proving Maggie's innocence. You'll see, sir.
But we've been kicked out of the crime scene, sir.
True. So then what now?
Looks like my life's fallen into yet another gigantic ditch.
Do not despair, Miss Bird. We can overcome this as well. There are so many other places and things we should be looking into anyway. Really, sir? For example, this hallway. The linchpin of his argument against Miss Bird is related to the master key. In that case, this hallway is the perfect place to look into more information regarding the mystery surrounding my door. And we're gonna begin the investigation. Let's go. First of all, let's see what Gumshoe has to say about this. Yes, sir! Detective Gumshoe, you look rather intrigued by something. Care to share? Oh, it's nothing, but I noticed Mr. Portsman called his partner Jim. And the detective in the Sunday night drama, All My Cops, is named Jim too. I bet one of them is a big fan of that show. You seem to know a little something about this yourself. I take it you watch it too? Of course! That tight bond of friendship between prosecutor and detective is great, sir. It really sounds like a wish fulfillment to me. But it's nothing compared to the super strong friendship we have. Ho ho ho! Friendship, detective. I think you're mistaking it with pity. No! That was supposed to be inner monologue, Edgeworth! How could you say that, sir? And after all we've been through, too. And they have been through a lot. They really have been through a lot, these two. Friendship or pity? For listening to Gumshoe's talk in the hallway about da-da-da-da. We got an achievement for it. Held nice. About Miss Bird. No way she's the killer. Please don't let me buy into the accusation, sir. Rest assured, I think she's innocent. However, I need to ask her a few things regarding her security guard position. Well, if you're only asking, that's okay. Just stand next to her and press space. Then you two can talk about whatever topic you pick. When you want to ask her about her evidence, all you have to do is present her with T. After you choose what to show her, press T again, and off you two go. I recommend showing different people different things. You'd be surprised about what they say. Thank you for the explanation. They don't recall asking for one. Oh, just so you know, sir, you can show me evidence in the same way, too. I do believe it's time to get down to business and ask some questions of Miss Bird. Ignored again. Well, looks so... We're gonna do a very classic thing in Ace Attorney. Presenting the badge. Your prosecutor's badge is really tiny compared to my police badge. Oh, but it's really cool, sir. Much, much cooler than my badge you could ever be. This reminds me of this comic by Chaim Daisy where Edgeworth puts his badge in his pocket and then accidentally slots it into a vending machine. It's really funny. There's no need to suck up to me, detective. Okay, that was that. I don't know if we're gonna get much more than Gumshoe, so let's ask Miss Bird some dinkies. Oh! Look! It's Winston Payne! Let's talk to Winston Payne. It looks like you're in quite a pinch, Mr. Edgeworth. To be sure, a murder within the walls of the prosecutor's office is no trifling matter. We must find, apprehend, and punish the killer according to warnedly post-haste. Sounds like a messy case you've got on your hands. If you ever feel lost or need some advice, my door is always open. How gracious, I will keep your open mind. Who is this guy again? Oh, even has the funny little toupee pose. How funny. Winston Payne is a staple character in the Ace Attorney series, that's for sure. Even though he's he has a really boring design. Look at the way he pats his forehead. He's really self-congratulating himself. So funny. Is everything all right? Yes, sir. Yes, no, I weighed myself this morning and I'm finally at 154 pounds. Good for you, Edgeworth. Congratulations, but I was talking about this hallway of this room. Oh, everything okay, sir? A word of advice. Stay focused or you may start to lose even more weight. Oh, they were talking about this guy. There's the balling. What is this basketball doing here? That's Mr. Edgeworth's prized possession, sir. I heard he also plays soccer and dodgeball and even tennis. And not a single one of these sports is suitable to be played in the hallway. It's a nice hoop, though. What is a basketball hoop doing here? Hey, didn't you just used to be outside next... Hey, didn't this used to be just outside next to the building a long time ago? So when and why was it moved indoors? I don't remember exactly, but I saw one of the officers dragging it up here recently. Drag it? I heard that it wouldn't fit in the elevator, so the poor guy had to bring it by himself. All the way up to 12th floor. He really reminds me, this kind of behavior really reminds me about like when college students just steal a bunch of random things from the streets, like street signs and bus stop signs. It's really weird. Or traffic cones. Anyways, let's say hello to Maggie and see what she has to say about everything. I was wondering if I would speak for you for a bit concerning case. I've always been a big fan of the court room, but this is just like a dream where you're being cross-examined by the Miles Edgeworth. I can't let this chance pass me by. I must remember to ask her about the master key. I should jog her memory by showing her my notes to her with tea. Let's give her the tea. And not the fun tea, because it has no flavor. So when did you discover that the master key was missing? By the time I realized it, I think it was around 1 a.m., sir. And I noticed it was back at around 2:30 a.m. It was just sitting there on the ledge where the security room's reception window is. But I'm sure between those two times it was not just gone but stolen, sir. Why is such an important key stored in such an insecure place? It's not like that, sir. We always keep the key further inside the room, away from the window. Always, you say. Except from this time, of correct? Well, I admit that it was a bit careless, but I had my reasons. I left it out because I was sort of using it at the time. It was after I had left it sitting down on the ledge. She used the master key. Well, we need to ask about that. What did you mean by use the master key? Oh, I had to use it to open the door for this prosecutor who's forgotten his key. Aw, she's so cute. I mean, it's my job as a security guard, right? What is it? That's right, I just remembered. The prosecutor who forgot his key. It was Mr. Portsman, sir. What? Please tell me more, Miss Bird. Quickly. We'll do the victim and Maggie Bird stuff later. Seems like I decided to advance the plot a little more than I expected. It was around 12 a.m. Mr. Portsman has forgotten his office key, so he came down to security, sir. And that's when you loaned the master key to him. No way! It is against regulations to loan a master key out to anyone. I walked out with Mr. Portsman to his office and opened the door for him personally, sir. I see. And then, what happened after that? Well, he called for me to close up his office as he was leaving to go home. That was around 1:30 a.m., I think. So in summary, for the sake of one forgetful prosecutor, you used the master key twice tonight. Talk about suspicious. I doubt you can say that you've never left your keys at home, detective. I think this calls for a thorough examination of Mr. Portsman's door. But first of all, I want to talk a bit with Maggie Bird. Have you ever met the victim before? Well, I've seen him a couple of times before when I had to go to Mr. Portsman's office. Mr. Faith was always playing basketball with Mr. Portsman, sir. They were really slamming the jam together, huh? That sounds like a lot of fun. Just once I would love to play with them. It sounds like fun, but the only person who ever taken a shot was Mr. Portsman. All Mr. Faith did was pass him the ball, sir. On second thought, I don't think I'd have fit in all that well with them. And then we'll talk to Maggie Bird because this is a funny monologue. Miss Maggie Bird, correct? I take that you're an acquaintance of the detective. She was under my supervision back when she was still on the force, sir. One day she got caught up in a murder and things started going downhill, so she quit. But I owe a lot about it to Miss Detective Gumshoe for introducing me to my current employer. Or so I thought until a few hours ago. Right before I was about to clock out for the night. You got caught up in this Merwind case, correct?
Don't worry, my whole life has been nothing but a whirlwind of bad luck and failures.
Huh?
Since I was 6 months old when I fell from the 9th floor of my apartment building.
Wow. How did you survive again?
I've been hit by all sorts of vehicles, gotten sick from all sorts of foods, failed at almost every test I've taken, experienced almost every kind of disaster, and now I even managed to be named a criminal just when I become a security guard.
That's a lot to go through in one lifetime, and she's only 23. That's crazy.
I know! And just when I thought I finally had found my happiness, I wind up getting you and Detective Gumshoe involved in my bad luck.
You don't need to worry about me, Miss Bird. Nor do you need to worry about yourself. I will solve this case and prove your innocence. All I ask in return is for your cooperation.
Yes, sir, Mr. Edgeworth. You can count on me. I'll do all I can to help.
And now we're gonna investigate the door. Okay. I won't rest until I've inspected every suspicious-looking nook and cranny. Well, I don't think we can look down right now, but let's at least look at the number plate. Room 1203. I take it that is Mr. Portsman's office?
Yeah, you can't mistake it because of that basketball hoop, sir. Oh, that reminds me. Mr. Portsman has actually wanted room 1202 really badly. But since you were already occupying it, Mr. Edgeworth, we put him next door, sir.
So why was Mr. Portsman so particular about getting room 1202?
I'm not sure, but I bet it's because of something like this birthday is December 2nd.
Yep, that's gotta be it. I can't think of another reason why. I can think of at least 3. Why am I wasting time thinking about this? Let's look at the doorknob. The door is locked tight. I bet the old credit card kid wouldn't work here, huh, Mr. Edgeworth? This is the office of a high prosecutor, detective. These doors would be pretty ineffective if the average cat burglar could get through them. Aha! So I guess only a great cat burglar can get in. That must be who the culprit is. Might I advise you to return that conclusion to whatever pawn shop you brought it from? Oh, I remember that. I remember that comeback. It's a good one. And, well, what else am I missing here? A minimalist yet classy door made from top quality wood. It's kind of majestic too. Fits really well with the ambience of the prosecutor's office. Even Mr. Portsman seems dignified just because he works behind one of these. Nonsense. A man doesn't become more or less dignified because of where he works. Well, he still seems more dignified, Mr. Payne. Mr. Payne? I suppose his custodial work can also be dignified. It's Mr. Portsman's personal basketball hoop. I can't believe he put something like this in the hallway of a prosecutor's office. But, you know, it's actually pretty useful, sir. I haven't gotten lost trying to get to your office since it's been here. How long have I had the same office? And if you still manage to get lost... to Gumshoe's defense, it is a very big building with 12 floors. Well, it doesn't seem like we find anything around here. Nor here. Let's try investigating my door. I won't rest until I've inspected every suspicious-looking nook and cranny. 1202. Those 4 numbers on the plate alone proclaim this to be my office. Whoops. Hey, these number plates slide right out, sir. They have been able to take the plate off when a room becomes vacant, you know. Although, the idea that it can be so easily removed is kind of... I think that's what I needed to examine. Did you happen to ask if any prints were lifted from the doorknob? Apparently, doorknob's clean as a whistle. Wipe, they think. Whoever this thief is, they did a good job of not leaving any clues behind. They sure did. Anyways. Maybe I can attach some logic points? I won't rest until I've cleared any suspicious looking nook and cranny. And we're just gonna find this. It's... That's the missing serious file, sir! No doubt about it. The bloody letters mark it as clear as day. There seems to be a few pages missing. Our thief only took what was necessary and left the rest behind. So what are these old files about, sir? I guess they've got something worth stealing in them, huh? Not particularly. It's just a collection of court case files. However, the cases within these files are not mine. Huh? They belong to the High Prosecutor that used to occupy my current office. I have my reasons, but let's just say I was charged with keeping them as they were. Then that means the thief must have wanted the file for a specific reason, right? It would seem so. Only the pages related to that case from 10 years ago are missing. I wonder why anyone would care so much about an old case. That's a really good question, but for now, let's try to logic our way through this. Let's try connecting these together. And it works! Miss Bird, I'm afraid there's a flaw in your story.
What? No way, pal! I mean, sir!
You said that you locked up Mr. Portsman's office at around 1:30 a.m., correct? However, the master key has already been stolen at that time.
Wow! Nothing gets by you, Mr. Edgeworth! You saw that contradiction like a pro! I had totally forgotten about that, but thanks to you, I remember it now. You're right! It was around that very time that I realized the master key was missing.
And?
Well, I'm a security guard, sir. I couldn't just admit to losing the master key, could I? So I pretended to lock up his room, sir.
You pretended?
Yeah, I used my house key and made it look like I was locking up, sir.
So in actuality, you never did relock the door, then?
Well, I thought that maybe I could go lock it after I found the key. Come to think of it, I guess the door still hasn't been locked properly.
Aha! Interesting. And now we have what we need. I think. Pretty sure our deduction relates to the case. This one? There's a contradiction here between reality and the evidence. If what Miss Bird said has been true, then why is this door locked again? Huh? You know, you're right. Miss Bird, are you sure you didn't relock this door?
I am certain of it, sir. And I don't think Mr. Portsman noticed it himself if I hadn't.
Which means, what, sir? It either means that he actually does have the key to his office, or that the door Miss Bird opened wasn't the one at all, but a completely different one. She opened a different door, but how can you prove that? There's an easy way to find out. All we need to do is, we need to examine these. The prints on the number plate, they will tell us what we need to know.
Everything? Really? Like what, sir?
Like, well, for example, such as... I know for sure Detective Gumshoe's dinner will only consist of instant noodles. Sorry, law. Oh no! Wow, that was amazing, sir. How did you know?
Well, was that supposed to be a joke to cheer me up, Mr. Edgeworth?
Yes, that was it. Now then, we should get back to doing what we need to do, and that is, we need to examine these. I think we need prints on the master key. That was what you wanted. Whoops. Yep, I clicked the wrong option again.
That was so brilliant.
Oh, we already found that out. Yes, that's exactly it. I'm glad you were able to come to the same conclusion. But the most important matter is... Yeah, we need to... I forgot we need to examine the prints on the doorknob. My bad. Womp womp. The prints on the doorknob will tell us everything. Hey, you! Yeah, you, pal. Do us a favor and see what you can lift from this, okay? What? So, what did you find out? There's no need for such belligerent nostril flaring, detective. Sir, I have found only Mr. Portsman and Mr. Faith's prints on the doorknob. So only 2 people's prints were found on this, huh? That's pretty decisive. Huh? I'm lost, sir. Thinking logically, a certain other person's prints should be on this knob as well. Now then, whose prints should also be on this doorknob? Well, it should be Maggie Bird's. Because she opened it. Don't you find it odd that the prints of the persons who unlocked this door are absent? You mean... Yes, the door that Miss Bird opened could not have been this one, but a different one. And that's it. What do we have here? I won't rest until I've inspected any suspicious-looking nook and cranny. He says that about everything. What is this? Looks like a scrap of paper. I'll get it, sir. Let's see. Oh, there's something written on it. I brought 3... looks like a note from victim. I brought up 3 pieces of evidence by just like we talked about on the phone, but it looks like you're out. I'll guess I'll catch up to you later, buddy. Yeah, and it's for Mr. Portsman. What else do we need to search for? What's this? Oh, the basketball has been moved. What are you looking at, sir? Oh, hey, how about a game? That's okay, detective. I just found the position of this hoop to be a little off. Hey, you're right, sir. I guess it shifted when someone made a seriously sweet slam dunk. Wow. They really flanderized Gumshoe in this game, didn't they? The positioning of the hoop is definitely unnatural. I'd better take note of this. Investigation complete. And we healed. Just what we needed. Poking around this hallway has actually paid off quite handsomely. Huh? How so, sir? In a variety of different ways. I think this time we had a little chat. I think it's time we had a little chat. With the real culprit of this case.
You know who the killer is? Wow, Mr. Edgeworth!
As long as my logic is sound, then yes. The mastermind behind this murder is none other than Mr. Portsman, which was pretty obvious because we found it out in the cutscene.
What? Mr. Portsman?
I knew it! That's exactly what my logic senses were telling me too. I suspected it was him from the instant he accused Maggie of being the killer, sir. That is anything but logical. Lady and gentleman, prepare yourself. Come what may, it's time to knock on the truth's door. March 14th, 5:12 a.m., the High Prosecutor's Office, room 1208. One second. Mr. Portsman, I finished processing the bloody letters, sir. All right, let me take a gander at it. Pass it here. He actually does the basketball thing. So cute. Okay, looking good. You there, take care of this. Wah! And he got it bunked in the face. How funny. Well, if it isn't Detective Gumshoe. End of the line for you, Mr. Portsman. We've got you now. Call off your dog, Mr. Edgeworth. Is this some kind of joke? It's no joke. We know, Mr. Jacques Portsman, that you are the guilty party of this case. You must be pretty upset getting chased out of your own room. I'd be mad too. So I guess you can stay, if you promise to stay out of my way. Our way. You intended to hide your crime under the guise of a prosecutor doing his job. I can see right through the unsightly paper-thin mask you wear upon your cowl. Who'd ever I thought it could come to this? Actually, come to think of it, your mentor was Manfred von Karma, right? Oh no, he's bringing up some old wounds. The legendary prosecutor who never lost a single case for 40 long years. But there was always this incessant chatter about forged evidence with that guy. Really teaches me that I've got to stay on the lookout for false accusations, you know? Are you done trying to play mind games with me? Because they won't work. I've already gone through a character development about Von Karma about 2 games ago. 3 games ago, actually. This literally happened in the first game. What are you trying to play here, Mr. Portsman? The only thing you should be using is that mouth of yours for now is explaining yourself. Although that too will only dig your hole deeper. Either way, your game is up. Well, aren't we full of ourselves? Even though you have yet to prove anything. And in we go! For the rebuttal. Oh, they also remastered this song! How nice! Whenever they put a remaster track, I just gotta vibe for a bit. I have no idea what sort of harebrained idea you have in mind, but there's a mountain of evidence that point away from me being the culprit. Besides, how when I asked, do you propose I unlocked your door and got in there? Look, I feel bad for doing this, but I've got work to do, so we're done here. Sorry, but we are not finished yet. Boy, you're stubborn. I suppose you're basing your accusations on something? I'll show you what I'm basing my accusations on. With evidence, and facts, and logic. Mr. Portsman's rebuttal. Here we go. I have no idea what's what There's a mountain of evidence that points away from me being the culprit. Besides, how may I ask, do you propose I unlocked the door and got in here? Well, I think it's with the master key, isn't it?
Objection!
Easy testimony. I believe you were able to open my office door with the master key, no less.
Objection!
Wait. Hold on for a sec. I never laid a finger on that key, as you already know. Precisely. You were able to open my door without lifting a single finger. Well, maybe you did, but only to direct. I like how the sweatband is like taking all the sweat and preventing it from coming in to like Portsman's face. That's right. You used your finger to direct this person to open my door with the key, and that is Maggie Bird.
Take that!
You had asked Miss Bird to open your own office door for you, yes? Yeah, I kind of forgot my key at home. Happens a bit too often for my taste, you know. But the room you had Miss Bird to open at the time was not your own, was it? What? You have quite the imagination. But why don't we ask the girl herself whose door she opened, shall we? I'm certain that it was Mr. Portsman's door, sir. I checked the number plate to make sure it was opening the right door, sir. See, Miss Bird backs up my story. Yet, what if you had misled her to fool her into thinking what you wanted? Ha! And how do you suppose I did that? By switching the number plates on your doors, for example.
That's right! They do slide out pretty easily.
Furthermore, you use them for one other thing to give a very strong impression. He indeed did do that. What was the thing that Mr. Portsman used to make Miss Bird think that it was his room? Well, it's easy. It's the basketball.
Take that!
What? The basketball hoop, sir?
It's quite the peculiar fixture in any hallway, let alone a hallway in this building. I will say some things about the remaster is that some of the assets look fine, and then you have the mouse, and the mouse looks pretty bad. I mean, no, the basketball hoop just looks really bad. It's like, it's really small things you notice. I think that what they did is that they upscaled the pixel art, and it's like some parts did not translate well at all. Look at this really ugly blur right there. It looks awful. Which is why it left an unusually strong impression on you. It's an object perfectly suited to sit just outside the office of a peculiar prosecutor.
Gah! That's very true, because there was a basketball hoop sitting there. I thought the door was opening. I was opening had to be Mr. Portsmouth's.
There are signs of the hoop being moved. Just sit in front of my office, to be sure. I see. So that's how you throw suspicion on people? Thanks for the tip. But I think your conjecture is a little off the racetrack. How many sports did this guy play? Is he also into F1? Time for a rebuttal. Now you're just spouting nonsense. I had the girl open my office door. After that, I was in my room the entire time. You don't have a single reason to suspect me. Well, we have the note. So he intends to claim his innocence at the end, does he? I'm as pure and innocent as my jacket. And Miss Bird is as dirty and guilty as the jacket she wears.
My jacket's not dirty, I'll have you know. I just washed it yesterday.
Please calm down, for I intend to show you who is the one who truly covered in slime here. Are you saying,
Mr. Edgeworth, are you saying that he went to the Nickelodeon's KCA?
No, he did not go to Nickelodeon's KCA. It's a metaphor, Miss Bird. You must understand it. You guys remember the Kids' Choice Awards? I remember thinking it was no type shit back in the day, but I don't because I grew up. Now you're just spouting nonsense. I really feel like I want to overpress like the rest of it.
Hold it.
Nonsense, you say? Yeah, because I'm telling the truth here. And that's it. I had the girl open my office door.
Hold it.
Using a master key, of course. Sure, you have a problem with that? That is what the master key is for, right? Perhaps we should place it in an elaborate labyrinth of some sort of for people like you. After that, I was in my room the entire time. Well, we know you don't have a single reason to... Well, we know... Let's press it to see if we get understatement, and then we'll continue onwards. And what were you doing in your office? I was doing my usual training regimen. Training regimen? Were you going through your law books from the start to finish? Mainly batting practice and some weights. Oh, and I also jog when I get the chance. I'm guessing he also has a treadmill? Wow, he must be the buffest prosecutor we have! With the weakest legal muscles, it would seem. I was doing my usual workout, so... You don't have a single reason to suspect me. Well, we know from Buddy Faith's note that is not the case.
Objection.
Because you were not in the room. That was a lie. What do you mean? What are you talking about? How was that a lie? That is a note from the victim left for you, Mr. Portsman. A note? It was left under your door. Or did you not notice? And right there, it says, but you're out. He definitely is out. Out of his mind. Oh, shit. But you were not in your room when the victim came to call on you. So then, where were you and what were you doing? Ah! Shall I explain it to you in full detail for you? Oh my god, the rearrangement is here! Such a good pursuit theme. You're busy snooping around in my room, the very room you had Mr. Beard opened for you.
Objection.
That's just nonsense. You have no evidence that I made the girl open your door for me. Oh, but I do. I have very decisive evidence. No way! This is proof positive that you had Miss Bird open the door for you. Oh, that's sick! Did you guys check that that note? It's master key for... Okay. I think it's Matt.
Take that.
Nope. Nope, no, I'm not getting sleepy, are we? I guess it's getting kind of late. Ugh. I'll have you know I'm wide awake. And I'll prove it to you. This is proof positive that you had Miss Bird open the door for you.
Take that.
I had your door dusted for prints. My door? What for? Come on, I bet you didn't find anything. You sure are good as wasting time. You're right, I didn't find anything. And definitely not Miss Bird's fingerprints. Her prints? What do they have to do with anything? Let's put it this way. If she really was the one who opened your door, then her prints should have naturally been on the doorknob she touched. Ah! Further, all of the prints on my office's doorknob have been wiped clean off. Don't you think it's time you gave up on your charade? We know you stole into my office with the intent of stealing something from me. And Detective Faith found you out. Possibly because you heard sounds coming from a room whose occupant was on leave. Mr. Portsman, you killed Mr. Faith to silence him. And I had the misfortune to return when I did. You had to threaten me as you escaped. And as I said when you had the gun onto my back, no one gets away with committing murder in my office! Just what is so funny, pal? Well, that look of stiff seriousness on the face of this office's finest prosecutor, as he makes a huge mistake in accusing me, is simply too much to bear. There's just nothing else like it in the world. What? Mr. Edgeworth just explained it all, and he even backed it up. You're the murderer! Stop trying to be slippery and just admit the crime already. And as I said earlier, it's also circumstantial and so full of conjecture. You say you checked my doorknob for prints. Well, I can readily confess that I had wiped out that knob down well. Huh? I'm a little obsessive compulsive, you see. I didn't want to touch the doorknob that you had touched. Which is why I wiped the knob down as soon as I could after you opened the door. After that, it makes the perfect sense that the only gym and my only prints would be on there. You made it up just now, didn't you? Furthermore, as for no gym left for me, do you know exactly when that was? For all we know, he could have left it there before I arrived to the office. Like early evening, for example. Are you saying you failed to notice a note in your doorway? Hey, even geniuses fail at times. I was probably too preoccupied by work-related matters, although that's no excuse. Now that's just a flat-out lie! There's no way you didn't notice that note of that size! But you can't prove that, can you? Say something, Mr. Edgeworth! Back me up here, sir! Ugh, Portsman makes a good point. I can prove that he didn't simply overlook it. Besides, I have an airtight alibi. Airtight, you say? I only just realized I had one when we were talking. I guess it would have been better for all of you if we just told you sooner. Portsman's alibi. If memory serves, you came back to this office around 2 a.m., right? And it was then when you all had the unfortunate confrontation at gunpoint with the culprit. But exactly at that time, I was down in criminal affairs. Ask around. I'm sure the other detectives will corroborate my story. It's the perfect alibi. Do you really think it's that perfect? Like I said, I don't care. Ask around all you like, you'll see for yourself. Detective Gumshoe. Sir, yes, sir. I'll go check out his alibi. Sir, be right back. Mr. Edgeworth, sir, I think we're in trouble. It's just like Mr. Portman said. The guys down at Criminal Affairs say they saw him around 2 a.m. You see? All of the evidence points to him being the culprit. So there must be a contradictory point in his alibi somewhere. Alright, sir, you came back to this office around 2 a.m., correct?
Hold it!
You are correct. It was around 2 a.m. Are you sure? It's really important to me that you're spot on with the time. I remember checking my watch then and making no mistake, it was 2. Ooh, giving testimony like a pro. Okay, you came back for your office at 2. And it was then when you had the unfortunate confrontation at gunpoint with the culprit.
Hold it!
It is as you say, however. Yes, however, you're the only one who claims to have bumped into the culprit. So tell me, did you see that person's face? Was it me who you saw? It was pitch black, so I couldn't actually see.
Objection!
Oh, come now, I'm sure you saw something. Try a little harder, why don't you? I'm beginning to feel like I'm the one being interrogated here. Oh well, it doesn't matter if you remember or not. It only matters that you ran into the culprit. But exactly at the time, I was down at Criminal Affairs.
Hold it!
So you paid the Criminal Affairs a visit. Yep, right after I left the prosecutor's building, I headed straight to the precinct. What's the distance between the prosecutor's office and Criminal Affairs again anyway? I think it's something that they established in Rise from the Ashes, but I really don't remember. Anyways, one more statement to press.
Hold it!
Well, we did go around and asked to confirm your testimony. And it was just as I said, right? Yes, sir. A number of detectives said that they saw you at around that time. See, I have the perfect alibi. That's the ace I had in my sleeve. Ugh. Impossible. He actually does have the perfect alibi. What's wrong? Why the sudden sullen look on your face? Can't you say anything back, Mr. Edgeworth? I think we've reached the end of the line and it's time to get off this crazy train. You there. Sir, please escort the young lady out, but remember, be gentle. Maggie!
Detective Gumshoe!
Is there nothing I can do? There must be a way of turning the situation around. If only I had a clue. Did I miss something that can help me to cast doubt on his alibi? I need to calmly think this through one more time, and with logic. Well, there was another gun, and there was his alibi, so I know the spoilers to this game, I know the intruder is someone else, so I'm just gonna connect it. Jigsaw complete. There were 2 bullets left at the scene of the crime. One that robbed Miss Faith of his life. And one that nearly robbed me of my jacket. However, the murder weapon only shows signs of being fired once. Meaning that it's entirely possible that the second gun was used in my office tonight. But seeing as the killer had to steal Mr. Faith's gun, I doubt the killer had another gun up their sleeve. Therefore, the second gun could have been property of an entirely different person, which could mean that there was another person who paid a visit to my office tonight. A turnabout visitor. Let's go. Supposing there was yet another visitor tonight, That would also resolve the issue of why my shells were appended twice. We know that the shells were disturbed once before and once after the murder. So it shouldn't be much of a stretch to think that it was the work of two different people. One by the person who stole the victim's gun and then killed him with it. And once again by the murder of our second culprit. Who was the owner of the second gun? It was supposed... If we suppose that the second culprit's gun was the one that pointed at my back. Mr. Portman, it seems I need to amend my assumptions regarding this case. Great, so you finally come to your senses.
Mr. Edgeworth!
Sir, what are you saying? This has been a big misunderstanding on my part from the start. I had assumed that the person I ran into was the killer, but that may not be the case.
What do you mean?
The person I run into was just your average thief. A thief? But, sir, doesn't that may cause some sort of contradiction in the facts? Not at all. It simply means the killer was someone else. And that means that in actuality, two culprits stole into my office tonight. What do you mean to? It explains both why my shelves were disturbed twice and how there were two guns. Mr. Portsman tricked Mr. Bird and gained entry into my office. Another good track I like. Now you're just leading the argument. And you still don't have any actual proof, you know. If you could please go along with my hypothetical scenario for now, Mr. Portsman. In the end, if you really are innocent, you should have nothing to worry about. Grr. Now then, returning to my scenario, Mr. Portsman was out to steal something from me. Which is why he checked my secret safe and ransacked my shelves. This is the first time. So then, this would be when the files were put back in the wrong order, right? Correct. And then, just when he was about to look somewhere else. Who should walk in but his own partner, Mr. Faith? But why did Mr. Faith come into your room, sir? He probably had business with Mr. Portsman, which is probably why he was in the area. But that's when he noticed sounds coming from my office would be my guests. Yes.
Oh, because you were supposed to be away, right?
And he must have thought it was odd, so he came to this office to check it out. Correct. And as a detective, that was the right thing to do.
But when he came in, he found his own partner standing there.
Because it was Mr. Portsman, Mr. Faith probably let his guard down. But Mr. Portsman was not so merciful to let him leave alive. He waited for a chance and stole Mr. Faith's gun from him, and then he killed him. He silenced Mr. Faith for catching him in the act of stealing. This was the moment in which the first shot was fired. The one that landed in my files. Following that, Mr. Portsman wiped the gun down and left behind it as he made his exit. He could afford to do that because he had also left me the fake dying message behind. You're such a complicated troublemaker, you know that? If things were as simple as that, then all would be solved. However, there was yet another visitor to my room, and this is where it gets complicated. There was another visitor, sir. Yes, and this other person's objective was to steal something from me. Now then, even after Mr. Portsman left, the door to my office remained unlocked. However, this new visitor had no way of knowing that, and so they stole the master key from the security guard's room. And then entered my room and searched through my shelves. This was the first time they were disturbed, and it seemed like the thief found their tries. The stolen O file, sir. Right, sir? Correct. Only just as the thief was about to leave with the file, I appeared. The thief then threatened me with their own gun and made their escape. The second bullet was fired during that brief encounter. So the shelves getting messed up twice and 2 bullets. It was all because of 2 different people were doing those things in 2 different times. Precisely. So now do you see, Mr. Portsman? The person I met was just a thief, and was not in fact Mr. Fate's killer. Your alibi for the time frame which I ran into the other person is now irrelevant. Because we now know that the murder took place during the first culprit's visit. What's so funny, pal? Absolutely splendid. Your scenario explains everything. Of course it does. It's Mr. Edgeworth after all. But you know, it still doesn't change the fact that it's all circumstantial. He really likes using that word, doesn't he? Supposing if, and that's a big if, your theory is right. It would indeed render my alibi, which has witness scrutiny, mind you, irrelevant. But there is still one defining point to your argument for which you have no evidence. Your supposition that I was the first visitor. Grr! Mr. Edgeworth, you can't let him get away with that, sir! But he has a point. I have absolutely no proof at this point.
Don't say that, sir.
I don't believe this. Don't worry, Maggie. I'll do something if I must. You know something? I find your attitude to be somewhat peculiar, Mr. Edgeworth. If the person you met really was just a plain old thief, then why is that person was not remain suspect? That is, if your theory is correct. And I'm guessing now is the last testimony. Part number 2. Did they remaster this track as well? Let's find out.
Yeah, boy!
Man, this is so hype. This is like the hypest. This is the hypest tracking in the game. I remember whenever this popped out, I would just like dance my DS or 3DS around. Okay, enough bouncing. That thief you ran into should be the real suspect, wouldn't you say? We should all be out there looking for that thief right now. They might still be nearby. I hate to repeat myself, but as I have already said, I was training in my room. And when Jim came to deliver some evidence to me, I was down at criminal affairs. So I can't be expected to know what happened around here after I left. So you think we should be out there looking for the thief? Of course, now isn't the time to be having these dead-end discussions. I don't think it is at all dead-ended. I find your alibi to be fascinating. Let's continue where we left off, shall we? I know he's lying. I know he was there at the scene of the crime. I just have to find a way to prove it. Okay, first thing I want to do before starting to press is I want to see what Edgeworth has to say about all of this. This is a good way to see if you're onto something. Let's see. I know he's lying. I know he was there at the scene of the crime. I just have to find a way to prove it. I want to save, first of all. I'm so glad they gave... I do wonder if there's also... Oh, and you also have the not arranged soundtrack. Honestly, I really like it, but because we're playing the stuff, we're gonna go with the arranged soundtrack because the arrangements have been pretty nice so far. Okay, this is useless. And I think this is actually... This actually seems like a good one. Let's press... Why didn't you go there with Mr. Faith? That's because he said he was tired and was going to take a quick nap. You know those sofas in the hallway? He likes to sleep on those. It's one of his habits. And what of the evidence he brought? They were things related to yesterday's case. Just 2 items. A gun and a pendant. Interesting. This piece of testimony seems too crucial to let slip through the cracks. Ah, there's the ace. The Ace Attorney's ace evidence.
Objection!
There we go. Only 2 pieces. I believe the profit face is... Here is... You fail. Excuse me. You fail as a prosecutor, Mr. Portsman, as you intend to keep evidence hidden from me. Ah, this is sick. What are you talking about? I haven't hidden anything from you. Well, here's a piece I think you should read carefully.
It says that Mr. Faith was bringing 3 pieces.
Yes, and this is the victim's real dying message to you, Mr. Portsman. I can't believe it. To get tipped by simple arithmetic. Where is the missing piece of evidence? You have it, don't you? Only the guilty would make such a face. Detective Gumshoe. You don't have to say it, sir. I'll pat the guy down from head to toe. Oh. Don't go any calm, sir. I'm warning you. Look at how, like, his torso stays stiff. It's all part of the investigation, pal. Don't even think about stopping me, pal DV. Like the TV. No! Hey, what's this? He had this on him, sir. Despite what you said, it would appear that you do have something to hide. But why would he hide something like that? There's only one reason why anyone would hide evidence of this caliber. Because it would unequivocally point to that person himself as the real killer. Where did he even hide that tape? Now it's your turn to... Let's examine this videotape in a little more detail. For the section of the tape that will drive the last nail into his coffin. Aha! Well, first of all, we have the KG8 incident. It is a surprise tool that will help us later, but now we have, right here, a bloodstain. Bada bing, bada boom. That's blood, isn't it? Yes, and I believe this is what the good prosecutor was trying to hide from us. This blood is still fresh. You mean this might be Detective Faith's blood? No, you got it all wrong. No amount of denial can save you. We have but to run a blood test to find the truth. You told us that you had received evidence from the victim earlier. Now you will tell us when and how did the victim's blood find its way onto this video.
Yeah, it's totally suspicious.
Was it all the moment of his death? Did Detective Faith have this videotape on his personage when he killed him? You know very well there's no way to prove that. Not even if we were to examine this tape for fingerprints. Gah! If I had to take a guess, I'd say that the only one here who's belonged to the murder is you and Mr. Faith. No! Impossible! And he passed away. This is such an iconic breakdown, to be honest. One of my favorites in the entire series. All the breakdowns in this game are so pog. Mr. Portsman has been placed under arrest for the murder of Detective Buddy Faith, sir. Very good. And the results we got back from the lab techs on the tape turned out to be real solid, sir. The blood work came back, and it was definitely Mr. Faith's blood out there. And as a bonus, they were also able to lift a few of Mr. Faith's fingerprints as well.
Thank you so much, Mr. Edgeworth. I still can't believe I got to see your cool deduction skills outside the courtroom. I'm impressed beyond words, sir.
It was nothing. I'm just sorry you got caught up in a murder in my office. Please accept my apologies.
It was nothing, really. Compared to what I've been through, I mean. I consider myself lucky that I was only burglary and murder this time, sir.
Oh, Maggie. You really need to raise your expectations about life. Poor you.
If it had been a holdup or a hostage situation, I'd have thrown my hands up in the air. I think I'm finally starting to raise up from goddess to misfortune to just an unlucky person.
Oh man, like, poor lady. Something tells me we should have hired a different person for security detail, and probably more than one security person. Just random headcanon thing. Do you think Maggie ever was in FNAF? Do you think that she was ever hired to be a security guard in Five Nights at Freddy's? Leave your speculations wherever, or don't. I think that's a very reasonable headcanon. You know something, sir? That Mr. Portsman really was one corrupt prosecutor. And why would you say he was corrupt? Well, I heard there were a number of suspicious things related to his court cases. There's even a rumor about how some of his evidence he uses forged, sir. Forged evidence, huh? And they say he even decided not to prosecute a few cases for really vague reasons.
Ooh, that guy was a complete disgrace to the entire profession!
And Maggie knows I mean, on one hand, yes, but on the other hand, considering the lore, Maggie, you saw some very not good prosecutors yourself. In game 2, in the last turnabout, it was Winston Payne, and then it was Winston Payne again in game 3, and then it was Gatto, and Gatto was revealed to be not a good guy either. You really need to raise your standards, Maggie, you poor soul. We never did ask around what his reason was for breaking into my office. Yeah, whenever we got near that topic, he just clammed up. Although we can be pretty surface that it was to steal something. I also think he got clammed up because of the weight of his sins and the metal that was in his stomach. Are we gonna get him into a surgery to get that out? We'll see. Maybe his stomach will also find a way to process it himself. Maybe. This is just between you and me, sir, but there's a rumor that some sort of huge organization is involved behind the scenes. Oh, well. With Mr. Portsman not willing to divulge anything, it certainly leads credence to that rumor. It would seem that we haven't heard the last of this. Huh? Then Mr. Portsman isn't the bad guy? Gumshoe, he is a bad guy. I didn't say that, but rather that there are still many more mysteries for us to solve. For example, we still haven't figured out what the significance of this piece of evidence. The stolen O series file, specifically.
Take that!
The person who stole this file, the other villain of this night. Yeah, I wonder who it was. And what happened to the stolen pages? I wonder, who in the world was it that held me up at gunpoint? Mr. Edgeworth, sir! Yes? I came across this while I was processing your office earlier, sir. This card. What is it, sir? Is that a bird or something on there? It's not just any bird. It is the mark of the raven, a three-legged raven. Even you should know this, what this is, detective. Yeah, Gumshoe really should know. Oh, it's about that thing, isn't it? That great thief everyone's talking about. Yes, it is the mark of the great thief, Yatagarasu. Under the mark of the legendary bird, the Yatagarasu is noble to the end. A modern Robin Hood. Labeled as mysterious and phantom-like, the Yatagarasu appears and vanishes at will. Though we don't know much about what this thief's ultimate goal, we do know the targets. The Yatagarasu even likes to find and make public evidence of corrupt dealings of all sorts. The theft is always performed in silence and always with perfection. Once a target has been chosen, the mercurial nose, the speedy times, very specific. Once a target is chosen, no dramatic calling call or announcement is sent forth. Instead, the chosen corporation is infiltrated without even the target noticing. Some days later, the evidence that was found is sent out to the mass media, along with this single card. Although it has been quite a while since the Atagarasu's last appearance. Hey, Mr. Edgeworth, look, something's written on the back. What? Let me see. It's the location of where the thief put the stolen files. But it's written gibberish. So the person who stole the contents of the file was the Atagarasu. Yatagarasu. Organization. Quite a few words are popping up in this mystery. The murder in my office. The return of the great thief, Yatagarasu. Looking back, I can't say I didn't see these events coming. For they were heralded by the incidents that began to occur 2 days ago. The end. So, that was case 1 of Ace Attorney Investigations, and I'm gonna save my progress. That was indeed Ace Attorney Investigations. At least the first case, to be precise. I really love. Oh, the new pages look really nice. Back in the investigations game, it was only wow, I'm stuttering way too much right now. Whoops. It was only like a navy background and the portrait, but like you saw full body version. And in this one, you only see the frame and like the half body version. So that was case 2 of case 1 of Ace Attorney Investigations, and I think that'll be all for today. The hour is getting late, and I think this will be enough for now. Overall, I think this is a really good tutorial and introduction to to this game. A really good way of showing how it works. A nice reintroduction of some characters. I will say that some things in retrospect, like Gumshoe not knowing some basic things. My main issue with this episode is that Gumshoe is really flanderized. Like, it has been a very long time, like almost 10 years since I last played the original trilogy. I should replay it. I will probably replay it on this channel. But it really feels like Gumshoe has been flanderized a bit. He was not that stupid. At least not that I think. It really feels... And I don't know. I don't really like it when the detectives in the Ace Attorney games are stupid. It's also a reason why I didn't really like Bobby Fulbright. He felt not much like a 30-year-old functioning detective man and more like a 6-year-old in a cartoon character's like in a 30-year-old man's body. And there are spoiler reasons for that, but yeah. Anyways, that's gonna be all for today. I'll post the schedule for tonight for the streams tomorrow for this week. And until then, you are welcome. You will stay frosty. And I'll see you guys later. Also, I'll be uploading this Let's Play to YouTube, so check it there. Give it a watch. Share it with your friends. Tell them I'm funny. Tell them I'm more competent in this game than I am in the previous ones I played in this channel. Now, stay frosty for real. I'll see you guys some other time.